Hey, Brandon Horvath here from Reckless Amoeba Productions, here to give my opinion on Sharknado 6. Yeah, Sharknado 6 was on last night, and it was a really good movie. Supposedly, it is the final movie in the Sharknado franchise, and oh boy, what a way to go out. And it's not on my phone. Typical. Okay, what can I remember now that I'm doing this review on the fly? It starts off with Finn in the Jeep, I believe, the time-traveling Jeep, going back into dinosaur times. His son Finn wasn't Gil. His son Gil didn't get transferred back with him because of some time traveling thing that you can only go back in time once. So they need to keep moving forward in time. Finn meets up with a lot of the main members of the movie franchise while in prehistoric times, like April, Nova, and most of the other people. So they need to go 88 miles an hour, yes, Back to the Future reference, one of many, in order to jump forward in time using a set of aviation pin that Finn has. So after prehistoric times, they jump to the Dark Ages with Neil deGrasse Tyson as Merlin, and oh boy, I believe one of the lines Merlin says is, "Who needs science when we have Sharknadoes?" Then I believe they go to the revolutionary times with Ben Stein as Alexander Hamilton, and I forget who it was as George Washington. Oh, I forgot to leave out that Morgana, who was some drag queen, supposedly a pretty famous one, cast a spell on sharks, turning them into dragon sharks, fire-breathing dragon sharks. And Excalibur was, of course, a chainsaw, which was pretty awesome. I kind of called that. Oh yes, revolutionary times with, yay, jump cut as I try to remember. In revolutionary times, they need to stop the British, which are harnessing the power of the Sharknado to stop George Washington. And that was a interesting scene. Yeah, without my notes, I'm kind of lost. Huzzah. Brandon would be poking fun at me right now. And then they go to the Old West with Billy the Kid, and all throughout this movie, they're chasing Gils of different ages as Gil time jumps around time. And in the Old West, they finally catch up with him, and in the Old West is one of the greatest lines in the movie. Dee Snider from, I believe, Twisted Sister, says the line, I'm Not Going to Take It Anymore, which is a reference to their song. Then they time jump into the 1960s and meet up with Finn's parents. And another Back to the Future reference happens in the fact that Finn hooks up his parents, thus closing the time loop and making existence happen. And all throughout this movie, Nova wants to change time so that her grandfather doesn't die via shark attack when she was a little girl. So instead of jumping to 2013, the date of the first movie, she actually pushed them to 1997 in order to save her grandfather. And Finn was saying that you could rewrite history, you could kill them all, because she won't have a hatred for sharks, which was a big thing in the fourth movie, if I remember correctly. So she winds up attempting to save her grandfather and winds up causing the accident that killed him in the first place. But luckily, they managed to escape. And then they time jump again to 2013 with an army of April robots who wants to keep Finn in the future so she can be with him forever. I know I'm leaving out a lot. I wish I had my notes. I wish I saved my notes. But, yeah. Typical reckless amoeba technical difficulties. So they fight the army of April robots, and Finn manages to electrocute the Queen April, which opens up a time loop, sending them back to 2013, and I don't know if this was all recycled footage from the first movie, but the drug trade, I believe, from the first movie plays out, and they manage to nuclear blow up the first ever movie Sharknado, erasing all the events of 2 or 1 through 6, saving the world, saving time, and creating a new timeline where Sharknadoes never existed. So, all in all, it was a pretty good movie. Maybe not my favorite. I would need to watch them all again, but I would say like 8.5, 9 out of 10. Lots of cameos by famous people, most of which went over my head because I'm not that knowledgeable in celebrities. So it will probably be replaying sometime over the next month. So check it out. Enjoy it. Brandon recommends it. Oh, and speaking about recommending, I recommend our anime podcast for you if you like anime. Brandon's Discuss Anime. It's on Sundays at about 3 o'clock. If I don't manage to have any delays while editing, which is kind of often. We're also playing through Banner Saga #1 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You should also check that out if you love Banner Saga. we're also going to be bringing out a movie podcast on whatever day we decide on, and that should be maybe around late September, early October, somewhere in there. Any other things we're doing? I guess that's about it. So, Sharknado 6, good movie. I look forward to the next franchise the Asylum brings out. So until then, later.